Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has won his third FEC Federal Election Commission case, with the National Enquirer paying a fine of close to $200,000, $187,500. But this is the third. I'll give you the first and second. So here's an article from Axios. Scoop: FEC drops first of several election complaints against Trump. The Federal Election Commission has voted not to investigate allegations that Trump campaign representatives, including Donald Trump Jr., solicited illegal foreign assistance in 2016. That never happened. That was, of course, fabricated. That's why the FEC dropped it. That's why the Mueller probe found nothing in terms of collusion. The whole thing was absurd to begin with. You would have, that's the original tinfoil hat theory, the nonsensical fantasy of Democrats, because they just couldn't fathom that Clinton lost to Trump, like I said, throughout 2015 and 2016, would happen in my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post Salon, and other publications. You can go to hagoodman.com and see my segments from that time period and my writing, telling everyone Clinton's going to lose. Now, the second victory, so that the FEC had nothing there, the Federal Election Commission had nothing. And if you look at the extent, the true Federal Election Commission investigations that should be taking place, the investigation that should be taking place, AOC, for example, her campaign was accused of funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars from political action committees into corporations. And that, according to 3 former FEC chairmen, amounts to a pretty serious campaign finance violation. A lot more serious than anything they leveled against Trump. What President Trump essentially did with Stormy and with the other lady was, with Stormy, I should say, a business transaction. With another lady, it was a story that wasn't published. Okay, so you're going to compare that to close to $80 million being funneled from state parties, according to Politico, into Clinton's campaign? There's even an article from Donna Brazil inside Hillary's takeover of the DNC. How on earth is that allowed? How on earth can you buy a dossier? How can the DNC and the Clinton campaign buy a dossier and not inform the FEC? How is that not a campaign finance violation? Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. We're approaching 17,000 subs, ladies and gentlemen, on H.A. Goodman's other channel. On this channel, we're almost at 181,000 subs. Tell your friends. But the second victory was Democrats on FEC blast decision to drop probe into Trump hush money payment. Hush money. To Stormy Daniels. Defies reality. So you had Clinton with top secret intelligence and private servers, President Obama's NATO intervention that caused the country to become a failed state, and Trump's hush money. Which of the 3 that I just mentioned, horrible scandals, which do you think Democrats and media focus on? Okay? A failed NATO intervention that causes endless chaos and mayhem for a decade in the country, where human beings are being bought and sold because of President Obama's NATO intervention. Top secret and special access program intelligence on servers outside of the United States government for 4 years, and you delete 30,000 emails. And then you have the FBI director saying, gosh, there was just no intent. Democrats love to talk about the rule of law, and they cover up their own almost certain criminal activity with as much enthusiasm as they have going after Trump, trying to find something. So the hush money payment, according to former FEC chairman, the same chairman that said 3 people, or one of them, one of them talked about the hush money payment and said, if it was just simply that he didn't want his family to know or his wife to know that he had a business transaction with Stormy, then that's not a campaign finance violation. However, you cannot funnel, like AOC's campaign is alleged to have done. You can't funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars into a corporation from a political action committee, and there might be a couple of pretty famous YouTubers that were a part of that, or at least associated with that. I'm not saying that I'm definitely not saying that they were directly a part of it. But anyway, they could have been associated with it somehow in an interesting way. But anyway, Democrats on FEC. Okay, so the second victory, in addition to dropping the absurd election interference nonsense case that somehow the FEC was charged with investigating, even though the Mueller probe found nothing, zero, nobody ever worked alongside Russian intelligence officials. It was a complete tinfoil hat fantasy. The second investigation is the hush money payment, which had nothing to do with Trump's campaign and was not like, do you think in 2016 if people found out that he had an extramarital affair after 30 years of Democrats saying, oh, Bill Clinton's, it wasn't that big of a deal in the Oval Office, you think that would have, and you think it would have made a difference at all in his campaign? Of course not. But everything is sensationalized. Oh my God, the rule of law, the post-truth moment. They lie through their teeth. You can, there's about 20 articles, easily over 20, but let's say conservative estimate, about 20 articles from CNN, the Washington Post, and the New York Times the past 4 years that had to be either retracted or were completely and utterly false, and with a retraction associated with the story. But here, the National Enquirer owner pays $187,000 for aiding Trump campaign and hush money deal. This was the one that I thought could have been an issue for President Trump. The media firm settled with the FEC over its role in paying Karen McDougal to give up the rights to her story about a relationship with the 2016 candidate. So the firm that owns the National Enquirer has agreed to, this is Politico, has agreed to pay $187,500 to the Federal Election Commission to settle complaints that it unlawfully aided Donald Trump's presidential campaign in 2016 by suppressing the story of an actress who said she had a relationship with Trump. The FEC concluded that the American Media Inc., now known as A360 Media, made an illegal corporate contribution to Trump's campaign by paying Karen McDougal $150,000 to give up the rights to her story about Trump. So it's like, I don't really... This was another business transaction. They keep on trying to get Trump on these business transactions. They purchased a dossier that was eventually utilized by America's intelligence agencies against an incoming candidate. The DNC purchased a dossier. How on earth is that not a campaign finance violation? How on earth is it not a campaign finance violation to purchase a bunch of salacious gossip and hearsay and nonsense and level it at an incoming candidate? My God almighty. The most morally superior, apoplectic, indignant liberal Democrats will allow anything if they don't like somebody. You have never seen more vicious and vengeful, indignant people who will allow anything, really just anything. If you believe that you're on the side of justice, and you're such a narcissist, and you have such hubris, and you believe that you're going after Trump and he's a tyrant and a despot, and he says mean things, even though he did great things as president. His greatest things, removing Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. He should have been championed for that. May 1st, 2021, we should have been out of America's longest-running war in Afghanistan. But the FEC basically said it wasn't essentially Trump's. It's not the issue with Trump. It's the National Enquirer that made the transaction and she got the money for it, so the story didn't, get reported on. Again, two beautiful women that he had relationships with. Wow, this is, oh my God, so horrible. Meanwhile, let's see. You have a litany from Whitewater, a failed land deal, to private servers, to 500 conflicts of interest with the Clinton Foundation, to $10 billion almost raised for the people of Haiti and only 3% given to them. I mean, we can go on forever. Uranium One, millions of dollars. I mean, look, when you have most of media voting Democrat and covering up any story, including Hunter, with emails that are incriminating, could easily be used for impeachment. I mean, what do you expect? Third victory in a row with the FEC. Give me your thoughts below for Trump. Give me your thoughts. Hit subscribe to this channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel.